Hello, everybody. Welcome yet again to Perspectives of Change. I'm your host, Sarika Kharbanda. As usual, let's begin with a short introduction of the show itself. So, at Perspectives of Change, we are dedicated to exploring how to nudge change forward by understanding and valuing multiple perspectives, because sometimes we forget that our perspective is just one of the many perspectives out there. And today we have another exciting topic. And I want to just say the name first before I forget. It's really nice. Global Virtual Book Club with a Difference. What it is, we are going to get into that with our two amazing speakers or guests who are dialing in from Perth. Both of you are today in Perth, right? So,
Correct.
hello, Ro. Hello, Fran. How are
Hi.
you doing today?
Yeah, it's a nice sunny day here in Perth. Um, and it feels like summer is on its way. So yeah, no, it's really good, really good.
Yeah, finally, Roy, I agree. It's been cold for too long, and this week is warm enough to get the shorts out, so I'm very happy.
I'm still in trousers. It's still not warm enough for that for me.
Cool. And I think I just want to drop in a bit of a context here, for people to know why we're going to even talk about this global virtual book club with the difference. And then before we get into the topic, we'll get into your introductions, I promise. And I think this is a very interesting book club that I have been a part of since what? I don't know. You both can correct me. 2 years now, getting into the third year, if I remember what Fran wrote in the email that came to me on the book club. So I think it's just a lovely journey, and I want to share snippets of my own participation on that journey as we go into this. But let's get to that. So I'm going to leave the floor open for introductions of both of you. And let's have you begin, Fran. I'm going to yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. I've been on this podcast before. I've had some great conversations on some interesting topics. So it's good to be here with yourself and Ro to talk about the book club with a difference. The book club where you don't have to read any books. Imagine that. And yeah, we'll probably get into the genesis of the book club. How myself and Ro had a good coffee in Perth city centre and sat down with our remarkable devices, or at least Ro did at the time, and started sketching out what this might look like. And as you say, into our third year, so very happy with that. I'll pass over to Ro.
So yeah, not much to add other than obviously both based in Perth. Originally, we were both from the UK, so maybe that's a connection. I don't know. And I did spend a lot of my 20s up in Yorkshire, so maybe that's it as well. I don't know, Fran.
Yeah, maybe Ro, maybe that is the connection. It's probably just to build on that. It's worth saying we've both been in Australia in the 12, 13 years, but my first 8 years were in Sydney. And so one of the reasons I got together with Ro is I met Ro on a different meetup. I think it was Will Webster hosted Ro talking about one of the books you've written, Ro, coaching self-organizing teams. And so I was fairly new to Perth, having moved from Sydney and looking to create this community. So I reached out to Ro after that meetup, and yeah, we met in real life and started talking about how can we start creating a community of like-minded people virtually.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. I didn't realise that was the connection, actually, Fran. That's useful to know. I've learned something already.
Yeah. Will Webster said, "Come along to this meetup. It's by an actual author, so tick, and she's like a real coach, tick, because he knew I'd retrained as a professional coach, and a lot of people in the agile world attach coach to their titles, but Will's intro to she's a real coach, so it's like tick. I'll come along and see what this lady has to say, and end up buying the book and loving it.
Yay! I always love it when I can sell a book because the whole point of writing books is, yes, it's to sell books, but it's the reason you want to sell books is because you want people to read what you've written. So it's all, I always love it. And I love it when people give feedback on the book as well, because then you talked about perspective, Sarika, at the beginning there, that I've got a perspective in my head, but it's knocking around in my head until I get it out there. I haven't got any feedback from anybody else. So it's always interesting to hear what resonates, what doesn't resonate, what people like, what they don't, what find challenging. I just love that. So yeah, no, it's really great to hear that, Fran. Thanks.
Oh, it is indeed. And books are something, I think it's just a very emotional connection. As humans, I think we just feel so automatically connected to books. And I mean, I'm just looking at my bookshelf here. It's those IKEA cupboards, and the whole thing end to end is just filled with books, and it's so amazing. Of course, now we have the whole Kindle connection, a lot of stuff that, because you want to save on paper and everything else, and then you can carry those books. But interestingly, with Kindle coming in and us being able to carry a book around on a digital, with the digital print there, I love the format that both of you brought to this book club, right? And I'm not sure if that was something you planned for, or, went or knew something that this is what's going to work for this book club, because I found it quite interesting that you don't have to read a book, just come along the journey, and one of us in the room is going to read the whole book for you and just be there, right? Be present and learn about it. So before we get into everything else, just tell us a little about this intriguing format that you have out there.
Yeah, I'll start though, because I remember the conversation that we had. As I said, moved from Sydney to Perth in the height of the pandemic. The plan was to go travelling, and I ended up in Perth having a job, and I was working at a company in Perth here. And this was, we had a lot of in the office time in Perth. We were very lucky when it came to the pandemic. We had little of the impacts felt across other parts of the world. So I had lots of in-person time. And I was in a role where I was trying to bring people together in this organisation. And I'd read this idea once before, but always try and create a book club. So I thought I'd try and create a book club with no friction. So how can I get people to come along once a month to a room downstairs in head office, talk about books with low friction? So I thought, let's create a space where they don't have to read any books. I'll get people together and I'll say who wants to share a book they've read recently and share some insights. So that worked quite well for that organisation. Then when I sat down with Ro and we had a coffee, I just said, everyone loves books. That's one of the notes I've taken from Ro's notes from the remarkable device way back then. Everyone loves books. Not everyone's got the time to read books, but people love discussing them. So that was part of the idea. Was I had this format work at the company I'm working with. Why don't we try that as an experiment where people don't have to read books? We ask for a volunteer to get it going. Myself and Ro will do the first one. So I think we had something like 30 minutes each at the very first book club.
Yeah.
And open it up. So that's kind of how the idea started.
Yeah. And the sort of the virtual bit was, I think, because, and I can't remember exactly what it was, Fran, but we decided that rather than have to worry about finding rooms and things, we thought, well, let's just run it on Zoom. And also that then opened up a much bigger possibility that it could be not just Perth, but outside of Perth. And obviously it's the global virtual book club because we do have people from all over the world joining in. And that also helped shape the format of the actual thing itself, because we thought, okay, what time would actually work across multiple time zones? Hence why we run it at 5:30 Perth time in the evening, because we find that then can cover Europe, and for those who want to join from North America and so on, they can. It's a bit more challenging, but we have had somebody from Canada, I think we were talking about earlier. So and I guess part of that, Fran, was because we were talking about the importance of knowledge, and both of us love learning. I would say that's one of our highest values, is learning. And so how do we help others learn? And I love what Fran said there about friction, because as you know, I'm a bit of a behavioural science geek. And if we can do something that makes it easy for people, that's kind of what we were thinking about as well. So, the virtual side, the timing, the fact you don't have to read a book, all of these things were intentional to create as much possibility for people to join in as we could. And I don't know, I can't remember if I said this explicitly to you, Fran, and I'm sure I must have done, but whoever turns up are the right people to turn up at that time. So that's kind of the philosophy behind it as well.
Yeah, I got that from the notes, Ro, and it's straight from open space technology. Whoever is there is the right people. And I remember, we learned from James Healy last week at Book Club that we construct our memories, which I'm fully aware of. I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, our very first one, I think we had one other person dial in for the very first book club. There was myself and Ro, and then the lady from Perth called Sankari dialed in. So there were just three of us.
Yes.
But we always said, as long as somebody dials in, we'll keep going and do the next one. So we started out with very humble beginnings with just one person. And now we have a collection of people, regulars and new people. We get between, I'd say, 5 and 15 people-ish across the world. So our philosophy stands. If people keep coming, we'll keep doing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful connection, I must say, because I have been, okay, and I know I've already told Fran so many times, even Ro, in our conversations, I'm always guilty. Oh my God, I want to be there. But, life happens. You can't always make it. But the beauty is when you can, you can. I know I've presented twice at the book club myself, volunteered. Hey, I'd like to do this one this month. And it's just been such an amazing experience. But here's my question. What's probably the best thing you've heard people say about coming to the book club and, when they step out of it? I'd be curious. Have you even, reflected back on that? What are some of the beautiful things that people have said once they, when they're stepping out or even getting into the book club? Share with us.
So I'll go first, Fran, because the thing that immediately comes to mind is the word connection. And I would say that even if they don't use that word, it's clear that people are coming back because they feel connected in the space. Mm-hmm. And so I love it when people feel safe to share. And part of what we do is we actually have a conversation about the book. So as you know, Sarika, that you present the book, but it's not just about you, it's about engaging in a conversation and connecting with like-minded people. So that sense of community and connection, I think, is probably the thing that I feel and hear most. And I don't know, Fran, if you hear anything different or if you hear the same.
100% the same, Ro. And yeah, I would say the same thing, echo what you're saying about connection. I don't do this for the books. Or for more book recommendations. I can't possibly read the amount of books on my to-read list if I live to 200 years old, which I don't think I will do. So I can't read any more books than I plan to read. So it's not for the books, it's for the connection. I follow the work of Priya Parker, the lady who wrote The Art of Hosting. I watched one of her Substacks this morning and it's all about gatherings and convening people together. And that's what it is for me. It's how can we get people in a space that feels safe to them, whatever safe means to that person. And yes, the people that say to me, I just love the fact that I can come along to a book club and just listen.
Yeah.
I was sharing with my wife recently that the book club was fantastic because we've got people on the book club who are extroverted and you can guarantee they're going to chip in all day long with their thoughts. And I also know other people who come to book club and they're fairly regular and they sit in the background and they love coming to book club because they tell me they don't say a word because they're introverted. Yeah. And what I love is the fact that people feel they can just keep coming back, just being themselves. There's no pressure to perform, to put on an act. We're not making people do silly things that might put them under pressure. We're just saying, just come together and just be in the space with us. And the volunteer will share the book, get involved if you'd like to in the conversation, be quiet if you'd rather be quiet. But that's kind of what I hope is we just create a container for people to come together.
Absolutely. That holding the space is really, really crucial. And being of an extroverted variety myself, I see it as a place to practice my reflection. And it's quite interesting how people then come into the space that we've opened up. So the way that Fran and I, just again in some of the technical bits, the way that Fran and I facilitate the session is very light touch. So Fran usually introduces it and I usually close it, and that's it. The rest of, as you know, the rest of the space then is for the person who's leading the conversation. And obviously we will chip in, we'll help make sure that that container is safe, but not in a heavy-handed way. It's very, very light touch. And that's really nice as well, because it's nice. It's interesting seeing how the group's evolved over the couple of years, isn't it, Fran?
Yeah, I love it, Ro. And people say to me in Ro, oh, I'll volunteer, but what do I have to do? What's the format? What slide deck or what? And we always say, do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable for you to share a book. And if that just means you open up and you have a chat. I read this book last week and it really talked to me because of A, B, and C. And if that chat lasts 30 minutes, that's a really valuable 30 minutes. If you want to do a slide deck, do a slide deck. Some people use Miro boards, and I've seen over-engineered Miro boards, and I've seen simple Miro boards. We've seen everything, but I think the key there is, myself and Ro always tell people, just share in the way that you're comfortable sharing. Whatever's comfortable to you, we'll hold the space, we'll have a conversation. No pressure to do anything other than what interested you about that book.
Mm. Yeah, I can definitely vouch for the fact that it has evolved so organically. I mean, I'm not saying I've been there every month, but whenever I have been there, it's, there's this feeling of connection that I've had, whether I'm participating or presenting, no matter what. It's that same feeling I carry each time. And you just quickly connect with everybody in the room, even if that's different. So it's a really nice, warm, cozy space, even though it's virtual. So that's totally hats off to both of you, I would say, for holding that space so beautifully and making everybody feel, just safe in it. And it's interesting, right? Because it's still virtual, you still feel it's like we're all sitting together in a cozy space, just somebody reading the book and getting all of us connected. And we're just having a chat, or not, if you want to stay silent, and that's okay. But you just be you. And I remember Rose post yesterday, and I love the fact that you can be you in any space. And why not go to that space where in a day, just for 60 minutes, you can just be yourself, whether it's just to listen or to present some of your learning and to co-learn with each other, right?
Yeah, I love that. And just going back to what Rose said about the right people turn up. We're not chasing numbers. We're not badgering people to come.
Yeah.
People sometimes email me separate, oh, I'm really sorry I can't make it. And I'm saying, totally fine. We'll be there next month, or we'll be there the month after. If you can't make it, that's good. Well, no, there's no shame, no judgment. It's open space. Whoever comes each month, they come. If you can come, come. If you can't come, also great.
Yeah. And we've had occasions where one of us hasn't been able to go because we've been traveling, and that's also fine as well. So we work around the sort of technology issues around Zoom and so forth. So we're kind of hopefully role modeling for people that it's totally cool, and that it will work in the way it's intended to work.
Yeah.
Just don't interfere with it too much. Just let it grow and develop on its own. Don't interfere.
Yeah, and the role modeling piece, I think, is important there, and that's probably back of my mind a secondary ripple that I'd love to see is that people go away from book club back to their worlds, their lives, and they think about how might I convene people in my world. So wherever I work and which part of the world I'm in, I'd like to get a few people together to chat. What might I take away from the book club idea that locally I can do something? I'd love that to happen.
Yeah, well, that has happened, Fran. Remember Kelly Norman in Perth?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She started her own book club.
That's right. So she contacted me and said, "Oh, would you and Fran be okay if I borrowed your idea?" And I said, "Totally cool."
Yeah,
And she links us on posts that she does very kindly on LinkedIn just to give us credit. But that was great that she took the idea and she's made it work for her in her context. So yeah, absolutely, Fran, that it's about sharing stuff and sharing ideas that then not just grow in the club, but grow organically outside of the club as well, that people can actually use and build on and change as well. It doesn't have to be the same. It's whatever ideas that spark for you that you can then take and do something with. So yeah, so we have got one person who we know that has done that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Super awesome. And I started smiling when Ro used the word technology, because I think Ro and technology go very well from all my experiences with her.
They never do what they say they're going to do. It's like, okay, I will never take over the world because they're just not easy to use. You have to know this, you have to attach it to that. The infrastructure needs to be right, the wind needs to be right on the right day.
No, and I remember there were at least 2 book clubs that I was participating in, and Rose Internet would just not be with her. And I was like, okay, are we saying this again? Is she joining us now? Is she there? And it's crazy, but just, for the benefit of all our listeners and viewers, I mean, it's a safe space, and what works, works. and it's just beautiful to be there in that space. And because you're entering into the third year, I'm just curious, is there something even more new than what you've already got? Is there something even more new that you're maybe thinking of that you want to share with us? I don't know. It's a random question that just came up in my head. Because it's the third year, any party that you want to throw, even that could be a thing. Why not?
I'd love to throw parties. Top of my head, no, I'm not thinking of an evolution of the book club. The book club is, looking at the notes again from Ro, volunteer-led, always virtual and simple as possible. So other than I do a sketch, and occasionally the sketch will change. So Valentine's Day, we had hearts on there. When we do a Christmas one, I'll put Christmas lights on. So the sketch might change, but there's nothing in my mind that's percolating in terms of, wow, we can do this next, because it seems to work in the format it's in at the moment. That's my view. Anything from you, Ro?
No, and absolutely those notes that we took, back in whenever it was, August 2023, was it? Something like that. Yeah, simple. Keep it simple. If it works, and it's like, don't interfere with it. It was never designed to be evolutionary and be something massive and all seeing, all dancing. The key to it is its simplicity. So I would say the thing that we're doing for the third year is keeping it simple.
Yeah, then one thing that could just come to mind there, Ro, is in the world where everybody's trying to monetize everything,
Yeah.
and capitalism is kind of like taking over the world. I like this just to be free, simple, come and convene, have a nice chat. We'll see you next month.
Yeah.
Love it.
Totally agree. Totally agree with that, which is obviously why we're doing it.
No, it's simple is always beautiful. And I think in this whole world of complex everything, we forget that there is something called simple. And it just feels so nice to lean into simple rather than, trying to navigate the complex. And some things just have to be simple. Love the way you put it. Okay, my one final question. Any additional parting words before we, just so that we can then just wrap this up? What else would you like to share with us? Something that I didn't ask and you still want to share?
Nothing comes to my mind. Just again, this is a bit like a virtual book club. We open the space and we have a conversation, we have a chat. What I would say is, if anyone's interested in joining the book club, reach out to Ro or myself. We have we do like some little experiments. I started one a while ago. So on LinkedIn, we have a group called the Virtual Book Club. So that's a group you get invited into. So if you're a member of the book club, you might see that you get a posting from that, and then you see a second posting. That's because from my main account, I've got bigger coverage. But we did create the space, the group on LinkedIn for the virtual book club, so people don't miss anything if they want to make sure that they're at any session. A lot of things on LinkedIn, as we know, the algorithms get lost. If it's posted in the virtual book club group, people know, oh, I can just go there and have a look at when the next session is. So yeah, reach out to us if it's of interest to spend time with a global, passionate, interesting bunch of people.
Yeah. So my final word is as well, if you've got a book that you've read that really sparked something for you, come along and share it. We accept all comers and we're interested in all books. So yeah, just let us know and we'll create a spot for you.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, both of you, Ro and Fran, for being here on Perspectives of Change today. And for all our listeners and viewers, this is indeed a global virtual book club with a difference. And I've experienced the difference. So can you. So I know I've promoted that subtly and also explicitly when I was interviewing Fran on 2 other video casts, but this is really something you want to experience. I'm enjoying it. So can you. So until then, I think it's just maybe a good thing to wrap up with and say thank you so much, both of you, for being here with us. And
thank you.
See you again at another podcast. Bye.
You certainly will. Thank you.
Bye.